Sitting on top of the world. Yep, sitting on top of the world. Hey, y'all. Welcome to Chanel's Reality. I'm Chanel, and this is my reality. Listen, it's 3:20 in the morning. I got a whole slice of cake. Okay, it's from this cake. Look, I just made some strawberry buttercream. Am I supposed to be eating this? Nope. It's a perfect cake, truly. And this buttercream is everything. Yes, Lord. Mm-hmm. You know how you didn't know you needed something in your life? You didn't know. Nah, I know. Mm-hmm. Okay. I'm stop being. Again, welcome to Chanel's Reality. Child. Girl. I gotta stop making cakes. It's not my ministry. No, it actually is my ministry. But um remember, everything on Chanel's Reality is, in my opinion, it's for entertainment purposes only, and it's all alleged, as the banner below says. Okay. So tonight, or this morning rather, I'm going to talk about Trina Braxton and her sister, Toni Braxton. So it says this is on intouch.com. It says Trina Braxton files for bankruptcy ahead. Let's see, can I put this over here so I don't have to read it over there? Hold on. Okay, it doesn't want to let me do it. That's fine. Copy it. Put it over here. Okay, so it says Trina Braxton files for bankruptcy ahead of Braxton Family Values return. So they're going to return to, I guess, WeTV shortly. And I don't know if that's why. They're reporting it. I just want to make sure you guys can hear me. I was just thinking I want to. I don't know. It's being crazy. It's bizarre. For some reason it doesn't want to let me click on my own link. But anyways, so it says Toni Braxton's sister Trina Braxton filed for bankruptcy and claimed she was struggling to keep up with her bills after Braxton Family Values went off the air. In Touch exclusively reveals. According to court documents obtained by In Touch, Trina, 49 years old, filed for Chapter 13, July 11th, 2023. In her petition, Trina listed her assets as her home in Braselton, Georgia, worth an estimated $1 million. A 2018 BMW X5 worth about $21,500. A 2006 Regal, the value of about $40,000. They have Regals that are valued like that? Regal. I thought that looked like an old school drug dealer car. Is it just me? Let's see. Yeah. That's what it looked like. Who would buy this car? Why is it worth $40,000? How is the Regal worth more than the BMW? Maybe it's just me. I don't know. It says her assets include $2,500 in household goods, 2 pair of Christian Louboutin shoes, heavily worn. Y'all play too much. 4 Gucci bags worth about $2,500. How? What Gucci bags did you have? The wallet is 500, 700. Are we sure this is real? Okay. In addition, she said she owned $12,500 worth of jewelry. She says she has 2 checking accounts, one with $0 and another with a negative balance. I'm not laughing at her. That's just, girl, you too old for this. How? Trina is 49 years old. How are you? See, this is what I was talking about. How when people were like, oh, Aubrey Day is lying about this, that, and the third with P. Diddy. I don't think that lady lying. I think everything she said, those ladies didn't get paid. That's what I think, personally. Because how Trina wasn't, they have what, 7 seasons of the Braxton Family Values, and you're broke? And here's the thing. Let me be very clear. We can all go broke, any of us, me, you, whoever. I'm not knocking her for being broke. It just seems like you're making really poor decisions, in my opinion. I don't see how you could have no money in your bank account, because here's the thing about losing money. People can lose all of it like this, but typically you see the avalanche coming. You hear it, you see it from a mile away. So it's not like you did. It's sort of like with the Peter Thompson thing. Now, I'm not saying she's like Peter Thompson, but what I am saying is how you owe $500,000 allegedly, or however much he owes. How do you owe that and you don't know? Like, how have you been having a restaurant open for 5-6 years, however long it is? You don't know. You didn't know last year you owed them people $30,000. You didn't know this year you owed them over 75. Like, that's what I don't understand. That's what I don't understand. And this is the other thing. To be fair, lots of people lost their businesses, especially if they had small businesses during COVID. Many major businesses closed down. Like, there's a store that I love. It's called Sur La Table, or you might look at it and see Sur La Table. But anyways, they have all of these like kitchen gadgets and all kinds of stuff like that. I love home goods. I love places like that. But anyway, and I'm like, they're closing most of their stores. I think, was it Express or BB or somebody, whoever owned those companies, I think they closed all of their stores, or maybe it's the Limited that closed, and you can only like buy their stuff online. There's no shame in that, but it's because of what happened with COVID. It changed the game. If you thought, okay, well, we gonna, eventually move all Macy's stuff to online and whatever, COVID said, because they were like, oh, we'll do it in 3 years. COVID was like, you got 6 months. So I could understand like if her bar chick stuff closed down, because how are you socially distancing in a bar? People can't survive. Big name companies didn't even survive. So I'm like, I'm not mad at her. I'm not trying to shame her in any way. I just think it's unfortunate because whatever this is my thing. It's sort of like however many people I've let live in our home, or me and my husband have let live here. Why am I charging you rent exactly? You know what I'm saying? Like, if I did, it would probably be like I'm pretending I'm charging you and I'm like putting it to the side for you, unless we fell on hard times. But my thing is, if we was making it before you got here, why am I charging you? Especially if you're struggling financially. I'm like, save your money so you can get out on your own. You know what I mean? So you have a little savings for when you get out on your own. Why would I be like, oh, well, I'm charging $500 a month? That's crazy. You know what I'm saying? I might say, maybe you could take care of the light bill or whatever, something like that. But most likely, I'm probably not charging you. For what? My point is, get your money, save your money so you can then go out and you won't ever have to come back. No shade. So it's sort of like if Trina and Tawanda is also supposedly in a bankruptcy, if you were surviving, quote unquote, or not broke before you got on the WeTV, I don't understand how you're broke now. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, okay, so what? You bought a Fendi bag, a Gucci bag, you bought some Louboutins, whatever. I'm not knocking that. Listen, I done told y'all a million times, I made for 5-star hotels and room service, so I get it. But I'm gonna have to pull back when I'm not working, or if I'm in a situation with COVID, or my business is I can't even pay myself. I have to, because everybody else is getting paid to just survive. That's when it's like pull back and hear me loud and clear. I hate budgets. I'm on a budget right now. My husband's like, "Yep, we only go shopping on Thursday." Listen, it's because the way I work is different, and when times get hard and things shift around, he'd be like, "Nope, you can't use your American Express." Okay, because I probably used it too much already, so I'm not. Listen, he's better at money dealing with money than me, and I'm just gonna call it what it is. I always jokingly say, thank God for him because listen, if we lived life according to me, we'd be so fabulous. We'd be at the Roots Chris 3 nights a week, going grocery shopping, spending $400-500, and still deciding to go to Cane's on the way home and get some food because now I don't feel like cooking because I did all the shopping at the grocery store. I'm just saying. Um, yeah, it's what it is. Listen, I'd be vacationing every 3 months. That's a goal for me, though. I am going to be doing that pretty soon. But and we probably would be broke under the bridge somewhere. Not really, but I'm just saying it's because I know that I like the um finer things in life, and I ain't apologizing for it. It's who I am. It's not going to change. I've said before. I listen. I clearly was royalty in my other life. It just is what it is. But if we listen to my husband, who keeps us afloat and make sure everything is paid and we have good credit and all that, listen, the life would be boring if we lived according to him because his thing is yes, we could do everything, but it's like for him, it's like, well, we need to save and maybe I don't have time for that. I don't have time to be 50 something years old finally be like, yeah, we finally got to Cabo. No, that's not how I roll. It's you save some of your money, you spend some of your money, you invest some of your money. And sometimes you're gonna go up and you're gonna go down. It just is what it is. It is what it is. And to me, the only issue I have is when you were down. Because to me, I'm just kind of like, okay, I get it if you're on reality TV. They, especially if you have some big name or you're supposed to be a celebrity or whatever, they want you to kind of show the glamour and we flying on a private jet and the Fendi bags and all that. They want you to show that. So that's fine. Go ahead and do some of that. But if it's like getting a game check as a football player. If you're making $14,000-15,000 per episode, or you're making 80 grand per episode, whatever it is, I don't understand why. Even if you're making 15,000 per episode, 7,000 goes into my savings, 7,000 goes towards me showing the good life or me going on whatever. And production should be paying for most of whatever it is you're doing anyway. You hosting a dinner, production paying for this PF chains. If we hosting a vacation, production pay, like I don't understand. What are you doing? The only thing I will say with at least with her, with Trina, she opened up a business. So I feel like she tried. She tried to capitalize on what the fame or whatever brought her with the Braxton Family Values. So I'm mad at her about that. I just don't understand why you didn't save none of your money. That's the part that I'm like, girl, that should just be you should have something put away for a brighter day. Hey, Mrs. Dugan. I hope I'm saying that right. Following you around because I'm up and can't sleep, but at least I feel like I'm talking to a real one. Oh, yeah, I know. I hear you. Thanks for the good commentary. Please hit the like button and subscribe if you're not a subscriber. Yeah, I have my days and my nights are all flipped upside down. So I didn't wake up until about 9:30 p.m. Well, I was up earlier this morning, but that's because I hadn't been asleep the day before. It was just a whole craziness. But listen, I have empathy for her. And at least with her, at least with Trina Braxton, I can say she at least tried. And before she got on, well, when she was introduced to us, at least on WeTV, on reality TV, she was married to Gabe. And I think Gabe passed away, if I'm not mistaken, rest his soul in peace. And they had divorced and everything. But she seemed like she was, trying to capitalize. She had put out an album, I think, or at least a single or two. She was performing. And then again, you have WeTV paying you. I'm sure you're having paid appearances elsewhere. What are you doing with your money? Oh, yeah, I do be in other people's channels. She says, yes, I've been a subscriber. I have seen you in other folks' channels, and your matter of fact attitude tickles me. Yeah, I'm a whole riot. Child, girl, it's my husband. I be like, I don't know how he put up with me because he's interesting too. But yeah, I feel bad, and I feel bad for Toni because it's like Toni, like I ain't bankrupt. Why y'all? Oh, because they start off the article. Toni's little sister. It's like Toni be like, damn it. But she's the reason that we even know who Trina is. But I just Trina, come to the front, girl. I just want you to explain it to me, like. And I feel bad that, when you file bankruptcy, when you do something public like that, then the people can go and they can look at the public information and they can see um, that they can see everything, what money you have, everything you've disclosed to the court, they can see it. And that's unfortunate. But let's be clear. Just because you filed for bankruptcy does not mean you broke. Be very, very clear. Tons of companies file for bankruptcy all the time. What bankruptcy means is that you don't want to pay you feel like you can't or you don't want to pay your creditors. So that's what that means. You could have money, but you could just say, listen, I'm filing for bankruptcy. And if you have money, or you have, well, let me say like this. If there is money in LLCs and other things like that, sometimes that doesn't fall under the bankruptcy. It depends on what type of bankruptcy you file. So she could have money in another account in her daddy's name or whatever. I feel bad for her because who wants to have that type of public shame? But I always feel this way. Listen, I always feel like no matter what happens to me in life, I'll be back on top. And then, didn't she have a husband? Didn't she get married? Where's his money? Yeah, aren't y'all supposed to be together? So I don't understand. Hope you get to 1,000K soon. Oh, thank you. I appreciate that. And then Miss Dogan says, how many times have Toni filed for bankruptcy? I know. I think she filed for at least 2 or 3 times. But here's the thing with Toni. Toni, the way L.A. Reid and Babyface and whomever else that set up her contract back in the 80s or early 90s and whenever it was, they were shady, in my opinion. I don't even know how she's still even dealing with them. But Toni, to me, was victim, just like I was speaking in my other video about how a lot of these Disney stars and people on these different shows, Danity Kane, Pussycat Dolls, all these, they don't have money like you think they have. They put out a persona to the world that these people have a Bentley and they the red bottom boss and they have all things Chanel and this, that, and the third. It's just not accurate. It's just not for some of them. People like Beyonce is probably very accurate because she's one of the biggest superstars on the planet. She has perfume. She has, I think, a clothing line. She writes most of her songs. And when you go on tour, you're making a killing, right? So she owns a lot of things. So yeah. And plus she's everywhere. She is, she's the Z bank person. She make money while she sleeps. So plus, I think she was protected by her dad before she became Beyonce, like the person we know now. And so she, I think, understood the business. And by the time she moved over to whoever's other record label, she kind of understood better. I think Toni from Baltimore didn't really, no shade to the people in Baltimore, but I'm saying I think she came from a family and a time and a culture where it was just kind of like, I'm happy to even, be put on, even though I know I'm talented, I know I'm cute, but these people who have all this power and money and access and influence, I'm a follow them, and got screwed. And it's actually kind of like what happened to Cassie, not in the same way, but it's sort of like I'm gonna sign you because I'm gonna tell you how great you are and how you're going places and whatnot. But then I'm gonna sign you to 6 deals, meaning I'm gonna sign you and say that you're gonna be with my label because we believe in you so much. We're going to give you 6 albums. And at the beginning, you thinking it's great, but then you realize you don't have no control. None. They telling you what you're going to wear, where you're going to be. We're going to pay for this, that, and the third, and you're going to have to pay us back. before you see a dime of anything. Merchandising, hotel stays, clothing, all the musicians that work for you, the dancers, all that. You paying us all back before you see a dime of it. Meanwhile, you riding around in your fake Bentley. So, and she got the #1 hit and 5 Grammys, but do you have any money yet? No, not really. And the reason why I say it's like Cassie, because it's like Cassie got signed to Bad Boy Records allegedly, and it's like 10 albums at 19. Who wants to stay with their first producer, their first whomever? You can't evolve, you can't grow like that. That's what happened to Toni, in my opinion. But I also think Toni still she probably knows better now, but she didn't learn, because you still thinking these people have your back and they don't. Yeah, I agree. No shame in bankruptcy at all. Ms. Owen says, right, the shameful. Yep, I agree. 1,000%. 1,000%. So I'm not, like I said, but this is my thing. This is my thing. This is me looking at the end from the beginning. This is what this looks like to me. Yes, it's shameful, so to speak, for her to have to be like, oh, I'm some star, I'm a reality TV star, and now I'm broke. But this is the thing. It's smart for her to do this now. It wouldn't have been smart for her to do it 2 years ago when nobody was really paying attention to the Braxton Family Values, right? It's smart to do it now because your show's about to come out, right? So we can capitalize on your brokenness or your bankruptcy, and everybody and the people are gonna be sad and cry and be like, oh my God, and we are gonna be rooting for you. People in this world love to build people up to tear them down. It's just what our society does, right? So then what's gonna happen? She's gonna come out here, she's gonna say, this is what happened to me after this, and that. And I can almost guarantee you COVID is going to be brought up. That's just my opinion. And I wouldn't be mad at her, because then it's understandable. It's relatable, right? Okay, that makes sense. My brother-in-law his business went belly up, and all these other businesses went belly up. So it makes sense. It's the comeback, right? So people want to see a comeback. People love a comeback story. People in America especially love a redemption story. So I think this is going to give her a storyline for this season. It could be, oh, poor Trina. And then the last episode or so, we see her on her come up, so to speak. And then the next season is when she kind of comes into it, and they take us behind the velvet rope to see how, she becomes a better businesswoman or whatever it is that she does. That's my opinion. I think that's what's going to happen. And it's smart. I mean, if they're going to use me, I'm going to use them personally. But then I think to myself, this is how I roll. So if you're my niece and my nephew, or you're my goddaughter, or whoever, however I'm rolling, that's how you rolling. So if I'm eating at the Ruth Chris, so are you. If I'm riding in first class, so are you. So I don't understand how you bankrupt and you got 5 sisters or 6 siblings. That's not to say everybody needs to carry her, but I don't understand how I'm letting you lose your house, your car, your all of this stuff. How? Nobody's paying attention to you sinking. And listen, I've said before, pay attention to the people who watch you drown. Pay attention to those faces, because people will watch you drown. And I feel like if you watch me drown, you're not my friend. You're not my family. And don't get me started, because I don't believe in that blood is thicker than water. I believe in whoever riding with me, I'm riding with them. Be very clear. That's just how I roll, because you can have a bloodline all day long. All day long. People will unalive their sister, their mama, their brother, and whatever else. How do you think the penitentiary got full of people? All them people ain't in there because they just stole something from the store. They're savages. Not all of them, but some of them. I don't know nobody in prison now. Raven Flores says, "Hey Raven," she says, "I hope Toni is making better decisions now. She better not fall again." Listen, I'm not mad when you file, only because I know you don't have to necessarily be broke, but you see a wave of debt that you don't see how you can get from under. But I agree with you. It's just like, girl, when y'all gonna learn? Like, when are you gonna learn? And this is the thing I never understand. I'm like, how do you How do you have millions of dollars or hundreds of thousands of dollars that you're getting for a season? Because let's be clear, none of these reality stars are working, where they only get 2-3 weeks off a year, like the rest of us, most of us, right? They're not working like that. They probably filming for 2-3 months tops, maybe. And then they may be promoting for another month or whatever the case may be. That's all you're doing. So, and you're just having someone follow you around and film your life. Don't get me wrong. I know there's work involved in it, but it's not like you have 3-4 other businesses that you're actually doing. Most of these reality stars, that's not what's up. It's just usually not the case. So I don't understand how you getting paid. Let's say Trina's making, let's say on the high end, $500,000 per season, or maybe $1 million per season. But 2-3 months worth of work, I don't understand. Where does your money go? And I'm not a pocket watcher, but I don't understand if, let's say you net $500,000. Let's say that's what you actually take home. How you don't go buy, and I know the housing market is different now, but how you don't go buy a $300,000 home or build $1 million home, but within 5 seasons, everything is paid off. I just don't understand. Like, what are you doing? I don't know how you don't have a financial advisor. Like, what are we doing? It says Trina. So Raven Flores says Trina filed in July. Oh, did I say last month? Oh, sorry. Yeah, it did say, when I read it, it said July. So yeah. Yeah, so I saw so Raven says Tawanda, oh, hold on. Tawanda was bankrupt too. But I saw something else where it said that, so this is what I saw. I'll share this with y'all. This is what I saw on Tawanda. Because I read somewhere that she filed for bankruptcy too. And then I saw this. So it says Braxton Family Values star Tawanda's bankruptcy thrown out after creditor accuses her of hiding income. So, okay. So I read that wrong. So basically what they're saying is Tawanda was trying to say she was trying to file bankruptcy, but then I guess whoever the creditor was like, nope, she hiding money. Because see, it says here, a federal court judge, and this is according to, where am I? Radar Online. Okay. It says a federal judge has dismissed Braxton Family Values star Toni Braxton's bankruptcy and left the reality star to fight off creditors on her own. After the star was accused of failing to report income as part of the case, RadarOnline.com has learned. According to the court documents obtained by Radar Online, what is this? I do not want to see people being violent. Hold on, let's see. What does it say? According to the court documents obtained by RadarOnline.com, a federal court judge has denied Braxton a discharge of her debt and closed the case. The decision came after the creditor accused Braxton of fraud. Don't Tawanda, girl, why? Come to the front. Why are you over here thinking you can hide the assets? Well, listen, once you become a public figure, I'm going to need y'all to realize that whatever skeletons you have in the closet, people are going to drag them all the way out. Be very clear. They're dragging you and all your, nothing is a secret, and everybody has a cell phone. They all snapping screenshots of you and everything you do. Offset, Cardi B. What? Anyway, don't get me started. Y'all go watch my video on them because I mess as well. It's like, you can't do nothing in public. And it's not to say that everything you do in public, just because you're sitting by somebody, you have to be having sex with them and you cheating on your wife. But when you're running around here with all these cheating allegations and people didn't see you cheat over and over again, you might just, listen, everybody, Cardi, let Offset cheat in peace at this point. I cannot. Okay. Okay, Raven says Tamar owes the IRS $2 million. Does she? I heard something about she was in debt. And again, what are y'all doing? And don't get me wrong, the more money you make the more you're gonna owe. It just is what it is. Listen, I don't have no millions of dollars, but me and my husband have been in business since 2001. And we always owe. I'm like, how is it the broke billionaire Donald Trump don't never seem to owe the government nothing? But me and my husband owe. How? But I ain't never had no situation where I owe no $2 million or millions of dollars or anything like that. Nowhere near that. But again, how? But you out here stunting? And listen, like I said, I made for 5-star hotels and room service, so I'm pulling up stunting, okay? But I can promise you, my house ain't gonna be in foreclosure, and I'm stunting. I don't understand what Tamar, girl. Ms. O says, I know enough folk people that have been in prison. Zuka says, I heard JR broke up with Tamar when he heard she owes the IRS. Child. I don't understand how you don't have a financial planner. But here's the thing with Tamar, and I used to really, really like Tamar. I really did. I always felt like I connected with her. I was like, I get it. I'm the baby of the family, and I get how people always want to kind of, that's just not my personality. You're not gonna overtalk me. I'm not that girl. But after she got let go from the Real and stuff like that, I started really kind of seeing Tamar for who she is, because ever since then, she's just been on a downward spiral, in my opinion, from my purview. I feel like it's everybody else, because when she was on Braxton Family Values, I always kind of felt like she could never be heard. It did seem like they was always making it her fault and this, that, and the third, but they tried to warn us. They kept telling us, listen, Tamar's a Tay monster. They kept trying to tell us, and I was like, And then I felt like Vince was controlling, and so I kind of had her back. But then it's like it ain't always everybody else. At some point, you have to look inward. And Tamar has always come across to me as like, she to me is like the definition of ghetto fabulous, right? So I think Tamar feels like, if I walk around in red bottoms, then I can't be ghetto. Child, yes, you can. Okay. Come to Houston, Texas when they had an all-star game. Listen, the strippers are pulling up to the Saks Fifth Avenue ballet in an Impala or in a Civic. It's like, who is these people? But listen, they going to get their red bottom so they can go down to the game. Girl got their $1,000 wig on, honey. They try to get chose. Just saying. Ghetto fabulous. That's Tamar. So, but I am shocked that she would owe the IRS, but you never know how people live, and people be pretending. Miss Duggan says, I just don't think they have good money management skills. I thought Tamar did because she was so frugal, but I guess not. I agree. Again, it's a facade, and money is fleeting. It's sort of like, unless you got old money, it's easy to give into all of the glitz and the glam so that you can stunt, right? So it's easy to be like, yeah, I'm only flying first class. It's easy to be like, because this is the thing, think about it with celebrities. You'll never really see them people in the same thing twice. Not if they really hot. You don't see them in the same thing twice. That stuff costs money until you get to a certain level where then people want to dress you and they send you stuff. That's a different level than these people. I'm just saying. So unless you got old money, a lot of times I feel like, especially in our community, that's just my personal opinion, we want everybody to see what we have. People be pulling up to a whole apartment with an Escalade. So you pulling up to this apartment that costs you $1,000 a month in an $89,000 Cadillac Escalade? But why? Why? But I'm not mad. I just feel like, let people be who they want to be. I'm not knocking anybody and they hustle. However you get it is however you get it. But the more money you make, the more people and expenses you're going to have. Because people feel a way, right? So I made it. Let me buy my mama a house. But you ain't really made it yet. Because like I told you, with some of those other people, they don't have money like we think they have. They don't. And so, but that's your life dream. I want to retire my mama and whatever else. That comes at a cost, right? You don't have the financial advisors. You don't have another bank account. You don't have nobody investing. You don't own anything. You're just a talent. And the entertainment industry is very fickle. We swear we care about people, and then Kim Kardashian takes an ass shot, and somehow our attention is diverted, and no one cares anymore. You're just as good as your last whatever. So when you don't have another TV show, another song, another hit, another this, that, and the third, people still running around the earth talking about they the red bottom boss. Red bottom boss win. Child. So Ms. Duggan says, remember when she was cashing bad checks and cashing somebody else? Who? I don't know who you're talking about. Offset will never get. Listen, I talked about Offset and Cardi in my last video. It's so true. But I saw Offset coming from a mile away. I didn't even know who Offset was. Okay. My little cousin, who's much younger than me, she was like, what you mean? He was Amigos. I'm like, who the Amigos? Just saying. I didn't know. But anyways, I remember when Cardi got with him. And I was like, I didn't know who Cardi B was too, because I only watched like the first season or first 2 or 3 seasons of Love and Hip Hop at Atlanta or whatever. So I didn't know who Cardi was whenever she came onto the show. So I didn't know her until she did that Bodak Yellow, and it was hot, right? So then I was like, oh, okay. And she has a very, like, I feel like consuming personality. She's fun, she's whatever, she's funny, that type of thing. So I get why people like her. I like her. But I feel like Offset, and I said this years ago, I felt like he saw Cardi coming a mile away, 10 miles away. He was like, yep, I'm about to hook into her because her standards are low. In his mind, her standards can be very high. She was a stripper. That's how he sees it, in my opinion. So all I have to do is love bomb her for a few months, maybe a year, make her think it's all about her, right? Put the ring on her finger, because my earning potential is not like hers. Plus, he's a part of a group, right? So if we make a song, Amigos, I got to split that with 2 other people. Cardi is a whole incorporation. She don't have to split it with nobody, whatever her earnings are. So I'm gonna connect myself with her. I'm gonna get a baby or 2 or whatever the case may be, but I'm gonna still keep having these side hoes. And because Cardi's from that life, she'll understand. Plus, no matter what happens, when it's the toxic conditioning that I always talk about. So he cheated on her, and it doesn't have to be Offset and Cardi, but your husband cheated on you and he filed for divorce for whatever the reason is. Why didn't you must not have been sucking his long enough or enough. What are you talking about? Well, we can't. Here's Evelyn Lozada. We can't expect. I know if he played for the football, for the NFL or the NBA or whoever, he gonna be on the road. So I know he gonna be different and doing it. Just let me know. What? No, girl, bye. But it's that toxic conditioning that you would even feel like you should have to just ask for the bare minimum. But someone like Offset knows chicks are dime a dozen. He can get whoever he want, whenever he want, certain types of women. And why would I have to do anything different with Cardi? Cardi, even when he was being found out, she was like I remember she's on her Instagram or social media somewhere saying, no, he was at home with me. Girl, I'm not about to sit out here and protect this man who I know has cheated before, allegedly. So what are we doing? But that's Cardi. Okay. Wise Raven. What does that mean? WYS. I don't know exactly what that means. Who can't stand Cardi? You can't stand Cardi? Hey, I don't know. I like Cardi. I think she would never be my friend in real life, if I'm being honest. But I like her because this is the reason I like Cardi. And I like people like this in general. Even though I don't agree with a lot of her antics and whatever else, I like that. I personally feel she's authentically herself, meaning she's authentically ghetto, hood rat, whoever. And I respect that way more than people who are pretending to be elite or pretending to be, whatever. I don't like those, because to me that's fake and phony, and I'm just not with it. I could be cordial, but I can't be phony. And I don't feel like Cardi is phony. I feel like she's a bleeding heart. She's like a J-Lo, but without the refinement. That's to me who Cardi is. She's like a J-Lo. J-Lo comes across as a movie star. She wants to be this whomever, but J-Lo understands the assignment. J-Lo knows she has to put across a certain demeanor or bravado to attract and keep a certain audience, right? But she keep getting with men because she's a hopeless romantic and none of them last. And I think that's Cardi's problem. Cardi is with this Offset and she wants that unrealistic fairy tale, because people don't realize a fairy tale is a fairy tale, meaning it's not real, it's not achievable. I talked about this earlier. You still believing in Cinderella, sis? How is it that the prince is coming to find you with your size 6.5 or 7 foot or whatever it is? Like there's not 8 billion women walking around with size 7.5 shoe that wouldn't magically fit this glass slipper, but you think you're going to be different. You're not. You're just not. And men will cheat, and the girl won't even be as cute as you. I'll tell y'all a little story. I remember my first, my first professional job. I worked for Child Protective Services, right? And I remember I met this lady. She was the sweetest lady. Well, she wasn't really sweet. She was a bad bitch. Let me say it like that. But she was sweet to me. Her name was Allison, and she looked just like Vanessa Williams, just gorgeous. You can't get ugly no way on her. Not only was she gorgeous, she peanut butter complex with like greenish hazel eyes, built like, okay, snatched, and then married to a surgeon, right? So she's living her whole best life. But I remember when I met her, she was telling me about how she was in the middle of a divorce with her surgeon husband. I was like, and her husband fine. Oh, not that, because I'm not that girl, but he looked handsome and she's beautiful, right? And they have 2 beautiful kids. But I was like, why are you leaving? And she was like, he cheated with like the office manager or somebody. And I'm like, thinking to myself, I remember telling her one day, I was like, well, if y'all can't make it, nobody can make it. Because they both 2 gorgeous, established, well off people. I think she always just worked there because they had really good insurance when I worked there. And just to have your own, because people can get lost in that whole, I want to be a stay-at-home mom. I ain't never been, listen, I've never wanted to be a cat bitch. I've never wanted to be, listen, he can leave, he can cheat, I could want to leave. I'm not hoping and praying that this other human being is going to always love me through thick and thin and always going to treat me right. I'm not that girl. I want to believe in my own money, my own whatever. I want to be able to pay for whatever it is that I want and need. And I was a housewife for probably a year. And I was like, oh, hell no. It sounds great. But I'm like calling up my friends. And for the first week, people talk to you, whatever. But it's like, they at work. You at home bored. And although I love my husband, I don't need you to be asking me, well, okay, well, how much do you need for this and that? I don't operate that way. So I could never be a stay-at-home. I need my own money, period, point blank, end of story. Tawanda was the one stealing checks? Oh my God. Allegedly, Raven, she was stealing checks? Hold, please. Missouri says, I haven't liked her since heard her sister jumped the black girl. Oh, you talking about Cardi? Wow. I didn't know that. I get it. I do understand that part. So I get what you're meaning. I'm saying the part of Cardi that I like is very specific. I just like that she's not a hood rat for the purposes of money. I feel like she was always that way. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, I feel like once she grew up in the ghetto or wherever she grew up, she was always that way or felt like she had to be that way. And I think that's authentically who she is. I don't think Cardi will ever be a classy person. Just like I don't think Tamar's classy. I think Tamar's a hood rat. She's ghetto fabulous. She's ghetto, but because she can wear the Chanel or whatever, she thinks that she's something else that she's not, personally. But I get what you mean, yeah. So I don't like the hood rat part of her. Raven says, did J-Lo really get a divorce? So here's the thing. I was reading about this, but I didn't even know J-Lo had got married. They must have got don't know where I was, but apparently her and Ben Affleck got married and now they're getting a divorce. So that part is true. I didn't know that. I thought that they were just, I don't know. I guess I thought that they had just rekindled. I'm like, what happened? I didn't know. But apparently they didn't got married and getting a divorce now. Zogan says Cardi just want her Cardi just won't. I think, are you trying to say want her husband not to cheat? And it's too much to ask. It's true. Some people are cheater, pumpkin eater. So it wouldn't matter that, it doesn't matter that he's offset and he's supposedly got money or whatever the case may be, or have at least a name. It doesn't matter. I think if Offset and Cardi were both broke in the hood or just average people, she could be a school teacher and he's the banker, he still would be doing what he's doing. That's just personally, because if you have kids and he has daughters, in my recollection, to my knowledge, how do you want you teaching that? Listen, these kids you're their role model, and you're teaching them that it's okay for me to be treacherous and treat your mom treacherously just because I can't keep my penis to myself. Right, to me, it's humiliating to have to ask another human for money. Yeah, and here's the thing: I remember two of my cousins. One, I think she had stopped working because she was trying to complete her degree, and she probably was in her late 20s, early 30s. And so they came together, and that's what she wanted to do. They agreed, but again, you've gone from two paycheck household to one. It just is different. And here's the thing, I'm not saying it's different because he's a man, because I know if I was a woman and me and my husband agreed, okay, he's not going to work because he's trying to finish his master's degree or whatever the case may be, no matter what, I don't care how much money he had or what the item is that he's trying to buy, I am going to be looking like, did you need that? And I can't, because I don't want nobody asking me what I need. I got Eggland's Best because that's the eggs that I wanted. Listen, yes, I could have not eaten at the Papados, but that's what I wanted to eat. And I can't have nobody asking me about what I wanted to eat. And I would never want to have to do that to him. So it probably would never work. But I agree. For me, I wasn't humiliated that, my husband would ask. And same thing with my cousins. I wasn't, because one of the other ones, she lost her job and they were just, in a different, they still have their home and their cars and all of that. And they're both married to great men, as am I. But I don't have that part of my ego. It's not my amigo. So that part of my ego won't allow me to do that. But my ego also won't allow me to ask other people for money. I remember when I was like 19 years old, I was out here struggling. I was in an apartment with my best friend at the time. And I remember not having $1 to my name. And I was working as a security guard, and I didn't have any money. And it cost like $1 to get on the bus. I also didn't have a car when I was like 19. And it cost like $1 to get on the bus to get home, which would have taken me probably about an hour or so because, public transportation, even though I only lived literally 10 minutes away. But it would have been like maybe an hour walk to get home. And I just could not pull myself together to be like, I could have asked any of my coworkers for $1. I just couldn't do it. My pride was like, nope, I can't do it. So I remember I was walking along the side of the freeway. Listen, my guardian angels probably like, listen, we need a vacation from this bitch. I remember this guy, I'll never forget him. He was a white guy. He pulled up, he was in a red truck, and he was like, you need a ride? And I've gotten rides from guys when I was 19. That's why I know my guardian angels, listen, they was hard at work, because I've gotten a few rides and didn't end up in some ditch. And I've seen enough 2020 in the first 48 to know should not get in a car with people, okay? Especially if we don't know. But this guy, I got in a car with him. I also had a best friend at home that I could have called, but I wasn't going to do that because my pride. But he took me home. He picked me up. He took me home. He listened to me talk about my best friend I was mad at. I talk about my best friend to a stranger, but not to like somebody we know. But I was just venting, right? And he took me home. Never saw him again. But don't ever do that, by the way. If anybody is, watching or sees this later, don't do that. But yeah, my pride wouldn't let me do it. I didn't I never felt humiliated with my husband. I just don't like the way it made me feel to actually even ask anybody. So even right now, girl, I could be at home broke, no food in my house. I'm not about to call nobody. I'm gonna figure it out. I just feel that way. I just feel like figure it out. Miss Dugan says Cardi has self-hate. I would have to agree with you. I don't know about the colorism part. You think she has colorism issues? Because aren't her children a little darker? And isn't, well, you can be a colorist and still have, you could have black children, because all those slave owners that are those women and ended up having children still hated the kids or hated a portion of them or disowned them or whatever, didn't care about them. So you can be definitely racist and colorist and still have, kids like that. I don't know. I've never heard her or heard anybody say that she was that way, but maybe you never know, child. I don't put nothing past nobody. But then why would she even have a dark skinned boyfriend or baby dad? Like that's the, and then if she, I don't know. So I can't say that's true. I don't know. But maybe. But if she's pregnant again, child, I don't know. But yeah, so Trina and Tawanda, Lord. So the judge said Tawanda got to pay this money. I can't. So I'm reading here. It says in 2019, Braxton. Oh, so this, I guess they're talking about Tawanda filed for Chapter 7 bankruptcy, listing $277,650 in assets. And she's saying she has over $500,000 in liabilities. So she must owe that much debt. Again, you couldn't stop. You didn't realize at $60,000, you probably shouldn't get any more debt. What are you doing? Child. She said her monthly income was $4,692, but her expenses total $6,200. So then you need to do something about your girl, child. At the time, she said she had only had $150 in her checking account, and her savings was depleted. What are you doing with your money? Her assets included a recently purchased home in Georgia worth $275,000, 1,500 household goods, and another $1,000 in clothes. Where are they? Child, girl, stop. Her debts included $417,000 owed on her mortgage. And I feel like the last season of the Braxtons, wasn't Tawanda dating some guy too? I can't. It says she owed, okay, so $417,000 owed on her mortgage, $76,000 to her ex landlord. How do you owe your landlord $76,000? $8,000 to a Christian school, so it must have been a private school. $6,000 in medical bills. $35,000 to her sister Kmart in a personal loan. Wow. The landlord, Michael Wagner, filed a separate lawsuit as part of a bankruptcy demanding her debt to him not be paid, not be wiped clean. I ain't mad at him. He accused her of lying about her income and assets to avoid paying creditors like him. In court documents, he said that Braxton failed to notify the court about a beauty company called T. Braxton Beauty Company, which she had allegedly funneled money through. That's not shocking. Again, you got all these skeletons in your closet, girl. I cannot. Do y'all really think these people are not going to find it? There's something called forensics, okay? And they will go and find every inch of the money that you think you hiding. Be sure. Ms. Dugan says, oh, it's just women, the men. Oh, okay. They just don't like the dark-skinned women. Okay. Tawanda just got engaged, is she? Raven says Tawanda always been broke. Tawanda's always been the broke Braxton. She needed the show to rerun the most. Well, that's probably true. Because when the show started, wasn't she her and her husband living with Toni? Child. Tawanda's house was in foreclosure. Oh my goodness, is it? Oh my God, it's 4 in the morning. Child. Yep, I guess Tawana has a beauty brand. I guess that's what you meant to say. I would have it in my child's name. Okay, so now you being like the people, your child got credit and they only 4 years old. The cable in their name. They got 3 cell phones in their name. Stop playing. I'm not playing with you. But no, I get it. Times be hard sometimes. Trina married. Child, I don't know. How she filed bankruptcy alone. I don't know. I don't understand how everybody is broke. Child. Well, let me not say that. I do understand. I understand because people make poor financial decisions. Meanwhile, their brother Michael, I think that's his name. Listen, Michael is a whole nurse minding his business. I bet you he ain't in bankruptcy. I'm not laughing at them, but I'm just like, y'all got to do better. Tawana and her hubby lived with one of the sisters. Yep. They were living with Toni, I believe, when I met them. Well, when they came on, when their show first started. Tawana lived with Toni and Trina. Yep. Listen, I'm going to watch the Braxton Family Values when it comes back out because I always liked their show, to be completely honest. I didn't like some of the messiness. I love the fact that I didn't like the exposure of a Black family in that way, but I loved that they could always break out into a song. Listen, at any given moment, whatever's going on, Tamar at the piano talking about Toni is late. And then it's just like they will make a song out of anything. And I was just here for it. I loved that. I loved how, the dynamics were with them taking their mom's side, when dad was, what'd she say? Slinging it low and dipping it low and spreading it wide or whatever. I like Miss Evelyn because she's such the Southern mother. Still thinking she in control, but she really not. But I guess she did have the fear of God in them. But I loved how they would come together. I hate that they lost their sister Tracy. That was tragic to me. It was very unfortunate. I never saw that coming. But I liked them as a sisterhood. I just hated that. Leave Toni when Toni was like, I think it was on, what's that lady name? Yolanda, what's her name? Iyanla or something. I can't even pronounce her name, but they were on there. And I think Toni was like, if we were not family, I would not be friends with these people. I think that was a true moment. And I get it. That's why I don't believe in that blood stick in the water thing. I'm like, I'm riding for whoever riding with me. Whoever riding for me, that's who I'm riding for. That's just how I see life. I just feel like you could have all the blood in the world and then people will still sell you up the river for a paycheck. Stop me when I'm lying about something. Ms. Dugan says, I want Miss E to get a man before she leaves here. Their dad had love again. Yeah, I think the thing with the dad, I personally feel this way, and this happens in life. It just sometimes happens. He probably got married because they're from a different generation, but I'm sure he probably got married because according to how all of the Braxton sisters' bodies are snatched, I have to believe Miss E, her body was snatched for the guys, okay? Whenever he got married to her. And I'm believing, that they were in love, right? Then she got pregnant. It seemed like she was pregnant every year or every other year or whatever. But at some point in life, you sometimes grow apart. You should be trying to grow together, but sometimes you grow apart. Sometimes I'm saying this because I'm an old married lady. I've been married for almost 20 years, right? And you don't always like your partner. You go through ups and downs and phases where you just kind of like, do I know you? Who the hell are you? And if you're not strong in your friendship, if you don't have anything in common with that person, if you don't love that person, but love isn't enough all the time. Money isn't enough all the time. You need a plethora of things to keep you together, in my opinion. They have to respect you. It's just so many things. You got to be God-fearing. That's my personal opinion. You got to keep God in your life. You also have to have good people around you. So he got to have good people around him that's not pulling him to the wherever, and the same thing with you. But even with all of that, I do think sometimes people, you have a soulmate, because I think he like married this other lady after he divorced Ms. E, like 30 days later or something like that. I personally think that's pretty quick. So that tells me you and her was getting it in regularly. And I also feel like she probably his soulmate because I think he never had another one after her. I also feel like, because he didn't go to Trina's wedding. He didn't walk her down the aisle, and she always felt the way about that. And it's because he said it's because she didn't invite his wife. And I get that. There is not nothing my husband could get invited to that if they didn't invite me, he would go to. Nope. Me either. What do you mean? This is my husband. How dare you? Come see about me, about my husband. Period, point blank, end of story. We don't play those type of games. Like, me and my mother-in-law never had it out, never nothing. Because I understand my role, right? I understand I'm not ever going to want my husband to have to battle his mom about me, right? Or his sister, his siblings, whomever. So I'm never going to be that girl trying to divide or trying to be, no. First of all, I'll never want to be number one. I have to be the only. It is what it is. I'm a Leo. It's just how I roll. If I'm number one, that means there's a number two and maybe a number three. No, we're not doing that. But Trina didn't invite his wife, so he didn't go. I'm like, I can't be mad at that man because he didn't go to his daughter's wedding. I do think it's tragic. He should have gone, but I'm not mad at him. You didn't invite his wife. And I get why you didn't invite his wife, because you're trying to respect your mom. But I feel like that's a rock and a hard place, right? It's like a juggernaut and an unstoppable force. How do you manage that? I think the way you manage it is you talk to your mom and you say, hey, listen, I want my dad to walk me down the aisle. And although he broke your heart and our hearts and whomever else, this is still my father. I don't want to turn my back on him because he harmed you. He's still her father. I believe in Trina's stance. I do. But as a mature adult, I think you just have to go to your mom and say, hey, listen, if it was up to me, I personally wouldn't want this woman at my wedding, but it's my dad's new wife and they've been married for however many years. So I understand if you feel away, and I want you to know that I respect you and the way you might feel, but can you just, for me, can you just do this? And then let her make that decision. But I don't think it's fair for the daughter to have to make that decision. I think it's fair to have a adult conversation and say, listen, this bothers me. And both of y'all need to be adults and go to wedding. But I even still to this day, I still think Miss E ain't over it. She says she's forgiven. Nothing about her presence and how she responds to him ever has felt like she forgave that man. She seems angry in her guts, in my opinion. And I get it. How dare you be child rolling around in the sheets with this woman at the church and you will hold pastor? How? Child. Oh, hold on. She says, I was with my guy for 24 years and recently left him. Oh no. Unless it was a good reason. And if whatever the reason was, you can leave, girl. Bye. I ain't mad at you. He really loves his new wife. That's what I think. He seems truly happy with the new wife. That's what I think. Because I think she probably was his. Sometimes that's why I say I think sometimes people get together and they are in love at the time, but sometimes you grow beyond whatever that situation was. You do. You tired of fighting, you tired of being stonewalled, or you tired of wanting more and that person doesn't. And it's nothing wrong with that. Sometimes, listen, I have 3 whole college degrees. My husband has 1. And I'm sitting up here still talking about, do you think I should get a PhD? Because I want that for myself. My husband's like, I support you if that's what you want to do. I don't think you need it, but that's what you want to do. That's what you want to do. I could never be with a guy that didn't support me or that didn't want to grow with me. I know a lot of women personally. I'm just like, how you got 2 kids, 3 kids with him, and he ain't even trying to like at least take the kids a bath or take them somewhere while you trying to study, because he know you got a paper due or whatever. I don't understand. But I do, because again, in this world, especially in America, we have this toxic conditioning that says a woman should stay no matter what. He could be beating her brains in. She still be trying to figure out, we should still be trying to figure out what it is we didn't do. Girl, bye. He didn't have his dinner cooked. My dinner wasn't cooked. What are you talking about? Girl, stop. But in this world that we live in, people will make excuses. And I think sometimes maturity or whatever, you just should move on and move forward. And I believe in the Bible, and I believe in, for sickness and health and till death do us part. And I believe in for rich or for poor and all of that. I don't believe in, the Bible also says, don't treat your wife treacherously. Be very clear. So if my husband was to ever treat me treacherously and he's out here dipping in and doing it and having community pain, I'm out. Bye. I'm out. I feel like I could try to get over, like if something did happen or whatever, something happened, he fell off the wagon, something happened, I would try to work it out. I would ask God to help me forgive, but I'm not trusting you. I'm trusting God concerning you, which is why I would give you another shot. Because shit happens. It does. Especially if you've been married for a very long time. However, that's your one F up. We're not playing this merry-go-round again. Please believe. We ain't doing that. Nope. So, but I do believe that happens. Sometimes what people be saying, I got my work husband, sometimes that shit happens. Sometimes he ain't hitting it right at home, or he ain't treating you right, whatever it is. You don't like him. You don't even like the way he breathes no more, whatever it is. But the guy at the work, he looking real good. He paying you all kinds of attention. He taking you, whatever it is. You're having an emotional affair. It happens. But I think with Mr. Evelyn Braxton, I think he just found somebody he related to better. So she says, Ms. Dugan said, or Dogan says, Miss E was bitter for so long. I hope it's finally over. I don't know. This is my theory. My thing about forgiveness is I truly believe forgiveness is letting go of the burden of anger, right? And it doesn't matter what it is. It could be someone argued you. It could be your husband slept with your best friend. It could be your mom sold you for drugs. It could be your sister slept with your husband, whatever it is. All of it's trauma, right? But I think true forgiveness is freeing yourself from that burden of anger, because as long as you're not forgiving that person for that situation, whatever it was, and they could be as wrong as two left shoes. They could have argued or sexually assaulted, whatever it is. They could have done all of those things. They could be very, very wrong. But you have to decide what you want your response to be when you think of this person, or when that person's in your life for whatever the reason is. Do I want my response to always be anger? Do I want my response to be fear? Do I want my response to be sadness, frustration? No, because I don't want to live in that. That trauma center I tell people about that they create for themselves with all of the different things in life, regret, fear, disappointment, whatever it is that you created your little trauma center with, that abortion you had or whatever, the bad relationship you were in, the person that treated you poorly, whatever it is. As long as you can't free yourself from the emotional burden that is anger, you haven't forgiven them people. And that's why I say with Miss E, she always seemed like from her gut, like she just didn't even like him in her presence. She didn't like him being brought up. She was angry. And it just never felt like she forgave him. But I wish for her, I wish she found love again. But I don't know that she will before. Because I do think she still has that mindset from 1971 or whenever it was that she got married. I think she still has that mindset. And people have changed. The world has changed. And I don't know that she'll get what she is hoping for. Ms. Dugan said, how about the new wife is a whole 180 from Miss E? I don't think he could handle Miss E wants and needs. I agree. But didn't they have on that last? I feel like it was the last season. They had the new wife somewhere. They try to, child. think Toni and Tamar can find love again. Well, I don't know. Isn't Toni with Birdman or something? That I never understood. I don't care. Listen, his dick must shoot diamonds because I listen. Child, I understand. Listen, I have to be able to look at you. I can't look at Birdman and there can't be no moisture happening. Look, I don't see it. But Toni did say, I feel like either season 1 or 2, Toni was like, I ain't marrying for love. If I get married again, Toni was like, I ain't marrying for love. She's like, love ain't paying no bills. And it registered with me. Even though love does pay my bill. But I'm saying it registered to me because I was like, I get it. I grew up in an era too where it's supposed to be love and whatever else. But in my opinion, she married because of her emotional attachment to this guy. But then, like Tamar said, they using her for her fame and her fortune, and it didn't do her no good. And I think Toni woke up and was like, listen, I don't have to be able to look at you. Can you buy me this big body Bentley? Can you pay some of these bills around here? And I think Birdman fit the bill. Personally, I didn't get it because she just seems so elegant, right? And he is just so rough. And he ain't cute. He just looked like his breath. Is that wrong? Okay, God forgive me. I don't know. Plus, I don't want to be around nobody that got to have 45 people around them at all times. Like, I'm just, but their relationship has been very, I don't want to say DL, but it's not, I don't know if they still together or not. I'm not sure. Yeah, Birdman is not. That's what they say. They say they've been friends for a very long time, and I do get that, but I still don't. I know Birdman's persona is not truly who he is personally, but it just is the opposite. Like it's so far opposite that it's like, are we sure? But I have to say, I loved it when like he would come on stage and be all hard or whatever, even though that's just not my vibe. And she would just like stand on his shoulder, like, yes, bitch. I ain't mad at it at all. I just couldn't kiss him. I don't see it. But you know what? Listen. Azuna says yes. Thought Toni would end up with a billionaire white dude, businessman. I agree 100%. Raven says they broke up. Oh, okay. Listen, but she gotta listen. I would have been like, I don't know if y'all watched the Real Housewives of Beverly Hills, but listen, no, it wasn't Beverly Hills. It's Atlanta. Listen, Marlo said I got my whole townhouse paid for. I got me a this, that, and other. I still haven't figured out how Marlo pays for anything. I don't know. Like, how does she pay? I can't figure it out because y'all remember that episode when after her and Nene made up or whatever. And I think they were going, it was the season Sheree came back. It was the season after Portia and Phaedra. Oh, I still got to do a video on Phaedra. Damn it. After Portia and Phaedra, I think Phaedra was still on the show. Oh, they accused Candy of, wanting to supposedly take her down in the basement or whatever. And Nene wasn't having it, her and her bun, but they were getting ready to go to Cincinnati. No, they were going to California. San Diego, I think, or somewhere like that, or San Francisco. And Marlo had came over and Nene was like, yeah, you should come to San Fran with us. And Marlo was like, yeah, I got to go pick up my car, which is a G-Wagon. I'm like, this is probably what, season 7 or 8 or something, like maybe even beyond. It may have been season 10. I don't know. But I was like, how does Marlo have a $300,000 G-Wagon money? Where'd she get that from? And she walking up to Nene's porch in Gucci down from head to toe. Like, but I don't know what she must have a trust somewhere. Now I've heard people say she got a chairlift and some old man still taking care of her, but I'm like, what money? I wonder if he must have given her. She don't show no signs of slowing down. She doesn't seem like she is reserving anything. I don't know. But anyway, guys, I'm gonna get off of here. I gotta do my last little video about Phaedra and Miss Peach Juice. But thanks, guys, for tuning in to Chanel's Reality. Hit all my little buttons, my like buttons, my notification button. What other buttons? Subscribe buttons. Hit all my little buttons. And thank you so much, guys. I will see you next time. Have a good day at this point because it's 4:35 a.m. I need to go to sleep. It is what it is. I probably won't go to sleep. Make me some grits and eggs. I'm hungry. Bye, guys. Love you. Tired.